Hi everyone, and welcome to the Drum Magazine Groove Analysis video lesson. This video is very special because we'll be talking about Steve Gadd. Yes, the Steve Gadd and his fourth solo album release. The eighth track on this album, titled 1.5, is in 3/4, and the first two measures are played on the hi-hat with the cross stick in unison, except the last note, that's just a cross stick, before moving over to a cowbell groove. Let's focus on the cowbell groove and go through it very slowly at first. What I personally think that makes this groove so unique is the way Steve uses his hi-hat rhythmically, as well as the sound he's getting out of it. When I was trying to get close to it, I was successful with stepping on my hi-hat rather flatter than with my heel up. With this in mind, let's try to pick up the tempo a little bit. The opening track, called I Know, But Tell Me Again, is a genius composition. And in the first few measures, Steve teaches us so many valuable lessons that we have to take the time and talk about at least some of them. I'm pretty sure that we all have played cross-stick before, but have we really considered applying ghost notes and accents to our cross-stick? Steve Gadd did. So let's try it. Very slow at first. Once you're comfortable, you can try just a bit faster. When you look through the transcription, there are several things that are definitely contributing to the genius composition of this groove. In the second measure, the first half is using straight eighth notes, as well as tastefully placed open hi-hat at the end of it. You might also notice that Steve is dropping out his cross stick every now and then for the percussion instruments to pick up. And there is also syncopation at the very last measure of our transcription. Enjoy. When I first heard the last track on this album, and especially the very beginning, the ride pattern reminded me of something I had heard before. And then I realized it's very similar to Mozambique, except Steve throws in kesquera or mambo-like toms and switches the feel after the first two measures to 7/8 followed by 9/8, creating amazing groove. Let's take a look at the very first measure and loop it over and over again at very slow tempo at first to get used to it mechanically. Once comfortable, let's pick up the tempo a little bit and focus on recreating the feel that the opening has. One thing that helped me is, first of all, you buy the album. Second of all, you can load in the song into your Pro Tools or any app on your phone, and you loop the first two measures and you try playing to it. Great, so now we're comfortable with the first two measures in 4/4, so we can move on to the third and fourth measure by focusing on switching the feel from 4/4 to 7/8 into 9/8. The ninth track on this album, titled Temporary Fault, is in 7/4, and it's a perfect example of Steve Gadd's pocket and groove. You might have noticed that the groove itself changes very little, and that's only in the second measure by adding a bass drum at the end, and in the fourth measure by playing 2/8 notes on the hi-hat at the beginning. To get really used to and comfortable with this groove, I would suggest picking a measure and looping it over and over again, eliminating all the accents and open hi-hats, and focusing just on the note values in 7/4. Great. Now we can add the accents and open hi-hats.